Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The Directors Guild of the Philippines slams the country's Film Academy for not submitting any entry to the 2022 Oscar Awards. The group says that Oscar eligibility rules this pandemic made it more feasible for local film producers to submit an entry. The Guild says at least 3 films would have been eligible for the Oscars. They are now calling for a review of the country's submission process and an industry-led initiative to resolve similar issues in the future. Several militant groups staged protests in commemoration of the International Human Rights Day today. Mon Gualvez with the story.
In celebration of the International Human Rights Day, Kilusang Mayo 1 offered flowers at the Bantayog ng mga bayani in Quezon City. KMU said that the white roses symbolized the sacrifices and heroism of those who fought the dictatorship during martial law.
Ito po ay alay sa aming mga bayaning nalugmok noong panahon ng batas militar at maging sa kasalukuyang paglaban sa anti-manggagawa at mamamayang gobyerno ni Rodrigo Duterte.
KMU also unveiled a 10-point human rights test for all presidential candidates. Candidates were asked if they will honor those who fought during the martial law and whether they will put an end to extrajudicial killings and red tagging. KMU also asked if they will protect workers' unions and abolish NTF-ELCAC.
Kasi kailangan ma-enhance, kailangan maging malinaw kung ano yung kanilang tindig at pagrespeto sa karapatan pantao.
Other militant groups such as San Lakas staged their demonstrations in front of Quezon City Hall. They are demanding accountability from Marcos and Duterte due to the countless human rights violations. They are still hopeful that Filipinos will realize how damaging a Marcos Duterte administration would be for the country if they win the 2022 elections.
Alam naman natin, madaling manipulate yung public opinion. Talamak yung trolls. Wala po tayong makinarya tulad ng makinarya ng BBM. Binabaha yung social media. Kaya nananawagan tayo mag-step in dapat yung COMELEC na i-level yung playing field.
For his part, presidential aspirant Caliote de Guzman vows to abolish the NTF-ELCAC and junk the anti-terror law.
Walang pinaka-importante sa buhay sa tao kundi yung kanyang sariling buhay, yung sariling karapatan.
This is also the call of protesters who marched towards UP Diliman for the rally.
Bagamat ina-appreciate natin yung inalis ng Korte Suprema yung mga legitimate civil and political rights doon sa sakop ng batas, hindi pa rin ito tinanggal yung mga peligrosong mga provision.
For the group Bayan, next year's elections should all boil down to which candidate is able to preserve human rights and fight for the needs of the masses. For News 5, Mon Gualvez, we are One News.
In other news, the LTFRB has issued new guidelines for passenger capacity of PUVs nationwide as the holiday rush kicks in. Marian Enriquez with the details.
Roads are once again busy amid the easing of restrictions in Metro Manila, making rush hours very difficult for bus drivers like Philip. He often finds himself loading more passengers, exceeding the allowed 70% seating capacity.
Siyempre, bugsuan ng pasahero, kami ang inaaway rin ng pasahero pag di namin sinakay.
Philip and other bus drivers are appealing to the IATF to once again allow full capacity in public transportation.
Para 100% na po. Total, yung mga tao, mga empleyado, may mga vaccine na yan.
But the Interagency Council for Traffic still will not budge. They conducted an operation against overloading PUVs in C5 Taguig.
Wala kami magawa sir, lang. Ngayon nga lang kami makabawi sa biyahe sir. Hindi muna patiketan, warning na lang muna.
A driver admitted that he is confused with the different guidelines per region.
Akala ko kasi sir, masarang 100% na tayo kasi nasa NGCQ ng Laguna eh. Kaya hindi po natin, may iba-iba kasi mga sinasabi ng mga hindi natin maintindihan.
In time for the holiday season, the LTFRB released new guidelines on passenger capacity for PUVs nationwide. Jeepneys, buses, and UV Express will be allowed to increase their seating capacity. But with one condition. Currently, the sitting capacity in Metro Manila, Rizal, Bulacan, Laguna, and Cavite remains at 70%. For regions with 50% passenger capacity in PUVs, the LTFRB said passenger load may be raised to 70% if they have reached 30% vaccination rate. The LTFRB has also set rules on passenger capacity for inter-regional routes. PUVs going to Metro Manila should observe the allowed passenger capacity from their place of origin, while for those coming from NCR should follow the capacity of the trip's endpoint. Meanwhile, inter-regional routes that will not traverse Metro Manila should follow the lowest passenger capacity in the concerned regions. This will be implemented from December 9 to January 4, 2022. For News 5, Marian Enriquez, we are One News.
We'll be back with more stories after this quick break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The Health Department logged over 300 new COVID-19 infections today. The caseload is still at above 2.8 million, some 11,000 of which are still active. 6 duplicates were removed from the total count. The virus killed at least 25 more patients, pushing the death toll to almost 50,000. 19 deaths were reclassified from recoveries. Survivors are now at 2.7 million, with more than 600 new recoveries today. 164 of those came from the case count after validation. Only around 1% of some 35,000 tests recently conducted returned positive results. 5 laboratories were not able to submit data. Let's take a quick look at today's other top stories. The Health Department has found 5 of the 7 travelers who arrived from South Africa. These individuals are part of the 253 inbound travelers that are being monitored for the Omicron COVID variant. The IATF has elevated Portugal to red list category. Passengers who have been to Portugal within 14 days prior to arrival will not be allowed to enter the country starting December 15. Repatriated OFWs are exempted from this and will still be allowed to enter the country. The IATF has raised the annual deployment cap for health workers to 7,000 from the 6,500 allowed in June. Acting presidential spokesperson Carlo Nograles said nurses whose visas will expire by December 31 this year will be prioritized. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World Online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Masks on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I am Sean Yao. We are One News.